I built a company from scratch, only to be erased from my own legacy by my sister and the man I loved. But the day they asked me to officiate their wedding, I brought a flash drive instead of a blessing. I've been told I'm mature for my age so many times it doesn't even feel like a compliment anymore. It just sounds like code for, you're the one who keeps things together while everyone else pulls them apart. Hi, I'm Dana. I'm 32. And I used to think the worst thing someone could do to you was lie. I was wrong. The worst thing they can do is smile while they do it. Smile like it never meant anything. Smile like your life wasn't the collateral damage. You probably think I'm being dramatic. But you don't know my sister. Her name's Brielle. Blonde hair, perfect teeth, a voice like sugar and smoke. She once convinced a Whole Foods cashier to comp her organic kombucha because she said it was fermenting wrong. I was the one who paid for her Uber home and wiped her mascara off my borrowed cardigan. Again, Brielle used to say I was the reliable one. That meant I paid rent on time, held her hair when she drank too much, and forgave her. Every single time. She crashed my first car and blamed the brakes. Slept with my college boyfriend and said we weren't serious. Got me fired from a client pitch by stealing my laptop and leaking my deck, then told everyone I was unstable. But she always landed softly. Because I was the cushion. I'm not saying I was perfect. I'm saying I was loyal. And that used to feel like a good thing. Until it didn't. We started Everose together. A wellness tech startup built on the concept of personalized habit design, think wearables, AI coaching, slick branding. I handled strategy and story. Brielle came in later but charmed the media, charmed the clients, charmed Ian. Ian was our CTO. But also mine. We weren't just co-founders. We were in it. Late nights, locked eyes, quiet, stay a bit longer, glances. We got engaged the night our series of funding closed. He gave me a simple gold band. Said he'd upgrade it after the IPO. I didn't care. I was all in. 2 months later he emailed me to call off the wedding. Subject line, I need space. No phone call. No apology. Just, gone. You ever feel a grief so specific it has weight? Like waking up and your toothbrush is still wet from his mouth, but he's already a ghost? I tried to be logical. I blamed myself. Maybe I was too driven. Maybe I missed the signs. Then I saw it. Brielle's Instagram post. A soft launch reel. Her hand. And Ian's. Caption, sometimes the real story starts after the no, ring herb. I couldn't breathe. It wasn't just betrayal. It was branding. They rebranded. Not just the business, they rebranded me out of my own life. Everose became EVO. Same product. Different names. Different faces. Their faces. And the worst part? They sent me an invitation. Not just to the wedding. To officiate it. Brielle said it would show the world we were still family. Said I could use it for networking. Said I could close the loop with grace. So I said yes. I said yes with a smile. Because I already knew what I was going to do. You ever plan something so quietly, it starts to feel like breathing? For 6 weeks I practiced. Not revenge. Not rage. Just precision. Words, pauses, delivery. And when the day came, I wore a soft lavender dress and a mic clip to my lapel. The vows were ready. The cameras were live. The floral arch was perfectly symmetrical. And me? I had a flash drive in my pocket. You ever feel your pulse slow down, right before the moment that changes your life? The second I stepped onto that stage, I wasn't Dana, the cushion. I was the weight. And I was done holding anything for anyone. The flash drive wasn't just for show. It held receipts. Documents. Time-stamped backups. And one video. The rehearsal clip they forgot to delete from the cloud. The one where Brielle says, laughing, oh she'll say yes. Dana's the good one. She always folds. I didn't fold. I uploaded. Live. But the real twist? That wasn't even the worst part. Because someone else was watching. Someone I didn't expect. You ever realize your whole life was the setup and the wedding was just the punchline? The floral arch behind me? Collapsed 5 seconds after the video finished. No one touched it. But I didn't flinch. Because my real revenge hadn't even started yet. People think revenge is loud. It's not. It's quiet. It's booking a hotel 5 miles from your apartment and calling it a strategic reset. It's texting your mom you're doing okay, while eating leftover vending machine granola at midnight. It's watching the replay of a live stream you detonated over and over, trying to feel something. The morning after the wedding, the video was already viral. Not viral in a Bridezilla meltdown way. Viral in a LinkedIn drama meets HBO pilot way. Tech founder torches sister's wedding with flash drive confession. Ex-fiancé exposes secret takeover during vows. Everose scandal, what Dana said in the last 3 minutes. But let me back up. Because the flash drive wasn't just theater. It was strategy. And every word I said on that mic? It was built on months of whispers and weeks of quiet digging. See, after Ian left me, I didn't rage. I researched. At first, it was just late-night doom scrolling, looking at their new site, comparing copy I wrote to what they stole. Then I checked the shared Google Drive we built Everos on. They didn't remove my access. They just renamed the folders. One caught my eye. Beta Legacy. It was buried inside a sandbox directory they thought I'd forgotten. Inside, my original branding decks edited but still in my voice. Private investor docs with new fake timelines. A pitch video where Ian literally echoed a line I once said in a TEDx talk word for word. And at the bottom, a shared calendar. Event, engagement strategy call, Redana Optics. Yeah, optics. They weren't just building a new business. They were rewriting me out of the origin story. You ever scroll so far into a betrayal you stop blinking? But the worst part wasn't even the files. It was the rehearsal video. I found it 2 weeks before the wedding in the cloud archive folder. A long unedited clip. Ian, do you think she'll really do it? Brielle, laughing, of course she will. Dana's the good one. She always folds. They laughed like it was muscle memory. That's when I stopped hoping for an apology. That's when I started scripting my vow. I knew I needed more than righteous fury. I needed receipts. So I reached out to someone I hadn't spoken to since our company launched, Marcy. Marcy was our first seed investor. Sharp. Blunt. Old money energy and red nails like blood. She believed in my version of Everos, but ghosted us 6 months ago when Ian took over the pitch process. So I messaged her. Ever wonder why I disappeared? She responded 8 minutes later. Still got your prototype deck. Let's talk. We met in a downtown hotel bar. Marcy ordered a dirty gin martini before I could sit down, then slid a manila folder across the table. Printouts. Because screenshots disappear. Inside, a non-disclosure breach timeline. A digital IP registration showing I was still legally attached to the original product. And most damning, a clause in our founder agreement Ian had never bothered to dissolve. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "They're using your name in one of the back-end code repositories. That's lawsuit bait." It should have felt like power. But all I felt was hollow. Because what do you do with justice when your grief still smells like him? The week of the wedding, I barely slept. I bought a new dress. Soft lavender. Non-threatening. Something a reliable sister would wear. Brielle sent me a Pinterest board for the floral arch. Ian added me to the tech run of show doc. I smiled in every group text. Because performance is my superpower. But inside, I was splintering. And yet, part of me still wanted her to back out. To call and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I got caught up. Come home." But she didn't. The night before the wedding, I got a text. From Dad. "Proud of you for putting family first. Your mother would have loved this moment. Don't ruin it." He didn't know. He hadn't seen the deck. He didn't watch the rehearsals. He just saw the smiling invitation and assumed I was still the good one. And maybe I was. Good at lying to myself. You ever look around at a room full of people who think they know you and realize none of them do? I stood on that wedding stage and smiled like I meant it. I looked Brielle in the eyes and thanked her for her resilience. I told Ian love was not always linear. And then I pressed play. The video started. And all I remember is the silence. 12,000 people. Not a sound. The rehearsal laugh echoed through the speakers like it was happening in real time. Even the live stream moderator forgot to mute his gasp. But the real explosion? That came the next morning in the form of one brutal email. From Ian. "We need to talk. Now." You ever get a message so short, it feels like a punch? "We need to talk. Now." That was it. No apology. No context. Just urgency, the kind you only use when your image is burning. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I stared at the blinking cursor in the reply box and thought. You had months. You had every chance to talk. But now, with your wedding on fire and your investors side-eyeing your cap table, now you want to talk? No. Instead of replying, I opened the wedding live stream's comments. Over 42,000 views. Comments still flooding in. Did she just expose IP theft at the altar? Brielle and Ian are officially the villains in a Netflix doc. This is better than Love is Blind. And one pin post from the event's production company. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we are no longer affiliated with Evio. I smiled. But not because I won. Because for once they didn't. I finally opened Ian's email around 2 a.m. It wasn't a message. It was a PDF. Subject. Notice of intent to initiate cease and desist plus damages review. He was threatening to sue me. For defamation. For breach of contract. For emotional interference. I laughed so hard I actually choked. You ever have a moment where your body responds before your brain catches up? Like it knows you've hit some new absurd floor? This man stole my company, my fiancé, my idea. And now he was trying to legally erase what he couldn't morally defend. But I wasn't scared. because I'd read every clause. And I wasn't alone. I forwarded the email to Marcy. She responded with 3 words. Let him try. The next morning, I called an IP attorney I found through her. He reviewed everything: the decks, the recordings, the founder contracts. His verdict? They're in violation on 3 fronts. Possibly 4. If they go public with EVO now, they're risking investor fraud. Investor fraud. From a wedding. Can you imagine? Then came the fallout. Brielle posted an Instagram story. A fake cry selfie with a caption. Sometimes people hurt you because they're still hurting. No apology. No name drop. Just a vague attempt to make herself the victim. I screen recorded it. Then turned off my phone for the rest of the day. Because something had shifted inside me. Not anger. Not revenge. Clarity. I hadn't planned to take anything from them. I just wanted the truth to exist on record, on screen, in people's heads. But now I wanted ownership. Not just of Everose, but of the story they tried to bury me in. So I did something I hadn't done in months. I logged into our shared cap table dashboard. It took a few tries. 2-step verification had changed, but eventually I got in. What I saw? My name was still listed as co-founder. Ian never revoked it. Legally, I was still 42% equity holder. They'd launched EVO using the same back-end account. The funding was tied to the same Delaware LLC, which meant every dollar they raised since the rebrand, technically still attached to me. I sat back stunned. You ever feel your heartbeat go cold? Like your blood is calculating? That night, I did 2 things. 1, I filed an intent to claim ownership with our original LLC filing agent. 2, I requested a freeze on all financial disbursements from EVO pending legal review. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't even public. Just a few clicks. And the weight of years behind them. But I wasn't done. Because there was one more thing I needed to do. Not for revenge. For proof. Proof that they never thought I'd fight. That they built everything assuming I'd fold. So I emailed Brielle. Subject line, since we're still family. All I wrote was, thought you want a heads up. Legal review starts Monday. Guess you left your vow cards at the podium. I kept them. Especially the part where you say, nothing will ever come between us. Irony's a hell of a thing. You probably think I should have walked away. But here's the thing, they didn't just steal my company. They tried to turn me into a side note in my own life. The vow cards? She wrote them in my handwriting style. Curled E's. Wide W's. She used to copy my diary when we were kids. But the real twist? The morning after that email. I got served. Not from Ian. Not from Brielle. From someone I hadn't seen in 10 years. There's a certain sound paper makes when it hits your doorstep in an envelope you didn't expect. It's not loud, but it lands. The morning I was served, I hadn't even finished my coffee. There was a knock. Not urgent. Not aggressive. Just practiced. A man in a gray windbreaker stood there holding a thick white envelope. Dana Reed? Yes. You've been served. Have a good day. He turned and walked off like he just dropped off a pizza. I stood there for a full 60 seconds before opening it. Inside. A lawsuit. Filed in California. Not by Ian. Not by Brielle. By Mara Quinn. You ever see a name that makes your spine hum? Not in fear. In recognition, the way a wound remembers who cut it. Mara was our original co-founder. Back before Brielle. Back before the name Everose. She was part of the early pitch, the prototypes, the sleepless garage weeks. We'd parted ways 2 years ago, amicably, I thought, after she decided to leave tech for a wellness retreat in Costa Rica. She literally sent me a goodbye basket. Lavender oil, oat milk truffles, a handwritten card that said, I'm rooting for you always. M. That was the last I heard from her. Until now. Her lawsuit? Claiming back equity. Claiming she was coerced out of the company. Claiming she had emails showing I pushed her out to bring in Brielle. I dropped the papers on the floor like they were on fire. You ever think you're fighting one war and then realize you're surrounded? I called Marcy. Did you know about this? About Mara? No. But I'm not surprised. Word is EVO's investors are pulling back. Someone's gotta take the fall. So this was it. A game of dominoes. And I was the one holding the wrong piece. I opened my laptop and went digging. I found Mara's Medium blog. Wellness posts. Mindfulness platitudes. And one post dated 2 weeks before the wedding. Some people build health startups by bleeding out everyone who helped them. I wish them peace. But mostly, I wish them consequences. No name. No tags. But the message was clear. I went back through our old emails. I didn't coerce her. I begged her to stay. I even offered her 10% equity as a non-participating founder. But the email thread had gaps. Messages missing. Ones I knew I sent now absent. That's when it hit me. Back then we shared a Dropbox. And who had full access to that archive? Ian, I called the IP lawyer again. Asked if an ex-partner could tamper with old founder communications. His answer? If you didn't revoke shared permissions, it's very possible. Especially if they downloaded or deleted originals under a founder credential. I felt sick. My own digital past rewritten. Curated like a narrative they could weaponize. I needed air. I walked to the park near my apartment. Sat under a tree I used to journal beneath in my 20s. And I cried. Not loud. Just exhausted. You ever grieve a version of yourself you know they've already replaced? But then something shifted. I heard a voice. Not in my head reel behind me. Didn't think I'd ever see you here again. I turned. Mara. In a pale blue dress, sipping green juice, like she hadn't just shattered my morning with litigation. Can we talk? I think you already did. Through your attorney. She sat anyway. No apology. No emotion. Just this calm, dangerous neutrality I remembered from investor meetings. I'm not here to destroy you, Dana. I just want what I built. You walked away. I walked away from you. Not the company. Her eyes flicked toward my phone. And I saw what you did at the wedding. That wasn't a reveal. That was revenge. Don't act surprised if people start playing your game. You ever want to scream that you're not the villain but realize you've already become the headline? I stood. Shaky. Angry. But controlled. If you think I'm afraid of a courtroom, you're underestimating the damage you already did. She shrugged. And if you think investors will choose chaos over clean exits, you're underestimating their attention span. She walked off, trailing peppermint and smugness. And I just stood there, pulse in my throat, wondering what the hell I was even fighting anymore. Back at home, I opened my voicemail. One new message. From Brielle. Her voice sounded smaller. Dana, please, can we just talk? No lawyers. No press. No posts. Just us. She paused. I know you hate me, but I swear it's not what you think. Ian's not who you think he is. I found something. Please call me. You ever spend your whole life defending someone, only to realize you were just a decoy the whole time? The vow cards were gone from my drawer when I got home. No sign of break-in. Just gone. I hit play on the voicemail again. Listen closely. Right before Brielle's voice cut off, I heard something faint in the background. Typing. And a man's voice. Delete it. Now. Some part of me hoped she was lying. Because if she was lying, it meant I still understood the rules. But when I replayed that voicemail for the 5th time, headphones in, volume maxed, I heard it. Not just the typing. Not just the man's voice. A name. Muffled. Slurred. But clear enough. Mara's files, delete them. She can't see this. Ian, I didn't call Brielle back right away. I needed more than her voice. I needed context. Leverage. So I did something I swore I never would. I went back to the office. Not EVO HQ, my office. The tiny co-working suite I kept paying rent on out of spite, with nothing inside but a dying plant and a corkboard of ideas. I sat at the desk and opened a burner laptop. Logged into an old developer admin panel Ian never shut down. God bless his ego, he always thought I didn't understand the tech side. But I do. Enough to know where version control history hides. Enough to know where deleted folders go before they're really gone. And enough to know how to pull up the IP logs for who deleted what and when. What I found. Mara's emails were scrubbed by an admin account 2 weeks after she left. The scrub happened 48 hours after our first round of funding closed. The IP matched Ian's apartment in Palo Alto. But that's not all. There was a document. One I hadn't seen in years. File name, Everos_origin.v0.1. The original founding doc. Dated, time-stamped, location verified. Signed by me. Signed by Mara. No Brielle. No Ian. My chest tightened. You ever see a truth so raw it makes you dizzy? I took a screenshot. Then 10 more. Then exported the metadata and backed everything up on 2 flash drives. And I knew what I had to do next. I texted Brielle. Where? Where what? Where did you find it? The thing Ian didn't want me to see. Typing. Come to the old apartment. Just you. Please. It was surreal. Stepping back into that loft we once shared before the company, before the betrayals. Same chip tile in the entry. Same wine ring on the counter from a night we laughed about an investor calling us girl bosses. But now? Brielle stood in the kitchen in sweatpants and a hoodie I hadn't seen since college, one of my hoodies. She looked like someone halfway between a breakdown and a breakthrough. What is this, Brielle? I didn't know, she said quietly. Didn't know what? That he kept all the files. Even Mara's. Even yours. She opened a folder on her tablet. Inside. Dozens of voice recordings. Investor calls. Strategy chats. Even a personal therapy session Ian had apparently recorded without consent. And one labeled M_exit_plan_audio. She hit play. Mara's voice. I don't care what Dana thinks. If this goes live, I want my cut. I earned that IP. Then Ian. Then ghost her. Tell her you found God or something. She'll fold. Then laughter. From both of them. I sat down. Hard. You knew, I whispered. Not all of it, Brielle said. I thought he was just cleaning up. Standard startup stuff. You watched him delete people. And so did I, she said, looking down. Because I wanted in. She started to cry. Not performative. Not soft. Ugly, hiccuping sobs like she'd finally stopped running from herself. I didn't take him to hurt you, Dana. I took him to win. And then I realized. I lost. We sat there in silence for a while. Then I said what I didn't think I ever would. I don't forgive you. I wouldn't either, she replied. But I believe you. Because sometimes that's the only bridge left standing. Not love. Not trust. Just mutual detonation. I stood to leave. Flash drive in my bag. Screenshot backup synced to cloud. And one final file queued on my desktop. A whistleblower letter. Addressed to the EVO board. I didn't tell Brielle. Not yet. Because the truth was still unfolding. And I wanted her to sit with it. To feel it in her bones. When I got home, there was a package on my doorstep. No return address. Just a white envelope taped to the box. Inside. A USB stick. And a note. You missed something. You always do. Check the metadata. M. Mara. I plugged in the USB. Opened the folder. There was only one file. A video. Titled. Ian_confession_final.mp4. And I swear to you. He was looking directly at the camera. You ever hold your breath for so long you forget what relief feels like? The video opened with a flicker, grainy time-stamped. Dated 5 days before the wedding. Ian sat at his desk, glass of something amber in one hand, phone on silent beside him. Behind him, their sleek EVO logo lit up in a soft blue glow like a halo for the unholy. He stared at the camera. And for the first time, he looked tired. This isn't a legal thing. It's just in case. He rubbed his eyes. Smirked a little. If you're watching this, it probably means the Dana situation blew up. I always said she was smart. Just didn't think she'd go nuclear. Then he paused, almost like he was grateful. Truth is, she built the damn thing. Not Brielle. Not Mara. Not me. I repackaged it. Sold it. Cleaned it up for investors. But the skeleton? That was Dana's. I couldn't move. Not even blink. She never knew how good she was at this, Ian continued. Too ethical. Too careful. I kept telling her she was being paranoid about legacy protections, but turns out, she was right. Long sigh. We tried to write her out. Me and Brielle. It was my idea. I pitched it as brand clarity. She bought it. She always does. He took a sip of his drink. Honestly, I thought if I married her sister it would soften the blow. Make it all feel like one big messy family pivot. He laughed. That's the part that backfired. Should have known Dana wouldn't roll over forever. Should have known the good one doesn't stay quiet once she figures out the con. He leaned in, voice quieter. But this is on me. I broke it. I broke her. And if the board sees this, well, then it's game over anyway. He clicked stop. The video froze on his face. Smirking. Smug. Softly imploding. And just like that, everything cracked open. I sent the video to my lawyer. Then to Marcy. Then, after one long, shaking hour, to the EVO board. No caption. Just. Consider this my final contribution. That afternoon, everything detonated. An anonymous post appeared on TechThread. Sources confirm Dana Reed is still the legal co-founder of EVO, despite her exclusion from recent filings. A leaked video confession suggests deliberate fraud and manipulation by CEO Ian Blake, with potential complicity by board members. And then, my phone exploded. Texts, emails, DMs from journalists, even messages from former employees I didn't know remembered me. We always wondered why you disappeared. I never liked him. Good for you. Do you want help rebuilding? And then one message that knocked the air out of me. From Mara. You win. He always talked too much. You ever feel like vindication is heavier than grief? Because the truth was out now. But I still wasn't okay. I still had to sleep in the apartment where I first dreamed of Everos. Still had to walk past the alley where Ian kissed me the night of our first launch. And no one tells you that exposure doesn't heal anything. It just ends the bleeding. The wound is still yours to clean. 2 days later, Brielle showed up. No call. No announcement. Just a soft knock on my door and a box in her hands. Inside. My old planner. My logo sketches. A photo of us from the early days, champagne flutes, hope in our eyes, a sticky note in the background that read, "Build something no one can erase." She looked older. Not aged. Just shed. I'm sorry, she said. Not just for him. For me. I nodded. I know. She didn't ask for forgiveness. And I didn't give it. But I let her in. We sat on the couch, two women ruined by the same man, and passed a bottle of wine between us like it was church. You ever get the thing you prayed for and feel more tired than triumphant? The sticky note from that photo? I took it out and pinned it above my desk. The ink was fading, but the words still burned. The next morning, I got an email. From a venture group in New York. Subject line. We're interested in what you're building next. But attached was something else. A pitch deck. With my original Everose logo. And a note. One of your early investors never deleted it. We think the world still wants to hear your voice. I didn't open the deck right away. I just stared at the file name. Everose_V1_reborn.pdf. You ever feel the full weight of a circle closing? Not with fanfare, but with a quiet, unmistakable click. It had been 6 months since the wedding. 3 since Ian resigned. 2 since the EVO board issued their apology, the kind written by lawyers and PR teams, not people with actual remorse. Mara dropped her lawsuit. Brielle moved to Oregon, somewhere coastal, somewhere quiet. She sends me pictures of plants. We don't talk much, but that's okay. Some things don't need repair. Just distance. I still get stopped at tech conferences. Still asked, was it all worth it? And I always smile. Because the truth is, I never wanted to go viral. I just wanted to be seen. To be counted. To not be the cautionary tale in someone else's keynote. I said no to the first 2 venture offers. Not because I didn't believe in myself, but because I finally learned the difference between spotlight and alignment. I'm rebuilding. Slowly. Quietly. A new name. A new team. Same mission. But this time, no co-founders who lie in wedding vows. Last week, I did something I didn't think I could. I walked past the old Everose office downtown. The sign's gone. The glass is empty. But the reflection? It still caught me. And for the first time in a long time. I looked like someone I recognized. You ever survive something so messy, people only talk about it in whispers? That was me. Now I'm the one holding the mic. Not to burn things down. To build. If you're waiting for someone to hand you your story back, stop. Take it. I bought a new notebook last night. First page. Start again. But this time louder. They tried to erase me. But I was the foundation. And you can't demolish the ground beneath your own house.